Hi, I'm Nicole wURKEN here with my brother Ross Kenneth wURKEN, and welcome back to What's wURKEN, where we're interviewing young entrepreneurs and CEOs starting exciting new companies. And this week we have Dave Eisenberg, who's co-founder and CEO of Floored, a 3D scanning and software company. So welcome, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's a very exciting company. 3D is something that we see every day in real form, but not something that we experience digitally, which is what you're all about. So what would it be like if we wanted to experience a digital 3D experience?
Yeah, our hope is that it's the most immersive digital experience that you can have. It's the ability to freely move throughout a space, to look around 360 degrees, up, down, left, and right, and then to start to think about modifying spaces and objects in a really interactive way. What's new about what we're doing is the process by which we capture real physical spaces using a new type of 3D camera where we get depth information as well as photographic information. And then we're also building a series of applications that will allow people to interact with those spaces in new ways, swapping out furniture, changing lighting scenarios, etc.
What do you think about the current state of real estate and technology that requires and welcomes this kind of new platform you developed?
So I got interested in real estate technology when I actually looked at industries, the percentage of e-commerce transactions, industry by industry. Real estate is at the absolute bottom. If you look at every major industry, in some way or another, the web has either opened up new opportunities for commerce in those areas. Real estate's not. Real estate hasn't really migrated to digital experiences in any meaningful way. I think on the consumer side, on the residential side, real estate websites have been upgraded massively over the past decade, but there are very few new there are very few new technologies that have driven like uncommonly cool experiences in the way that we've seen that happen across a variety of other industries. Commercial real estate is just absolutely living, 25 years behind in terms of what the digital experience is like for looking for commercial space, and then once you have identified space, to interact with it.
Now, we were talking before, one of the reasons you were interested in 3D is how slowly that market has developed. On Mad Money in particular, we looked at companies like 3D Systems, symbol DDD. You said you weren't as interested in this. You actually wanted to create a digital experience versus physical. Why is that, and why have we moved so slowly?
Good question. 3D printing has, I think, had the hype, or has had sort of the public's interest for the past few years, and for good reason. It's a technology that represents the possibility that we would completely disrupt traditional manufacturing, which is one of the largest industries in the world. I get interested on one of the inputs to making 3D printing work, and one of those inputs is having 3D models of real physical objects, but then also physical spaces. And so I got interested about a year ago in a pretty nascent technical field, which is called 3D scanning, the art and the technology of mapping the physical world into a 3D model using an automated process. So our hope is that if we do a good job of capturing the real world into digital 3D, we'll unlock tons of new waves of innovation, some of which will be very closely tied to 3D printing.
Because I'm the nosy younger brother, I always ask, how do you make money, and how does Floored position itself in the marketplace in terms of leveraging spaces and increasing potentially the appeal of a space for a contractor that wants to build within the apartment or commercial space?
Sure. So today we make money in three ways. We get paid to scan any space, retail, residential, commercial, to represent it digitally in 3D. The second thing that we get paid to do is to clear out information about that model. So for instance, if you were scanning a space that's under construction and you wanted to show it as an empty space, that's a service that we provide. And then we provide the inverse of that. If you've got a space that's empty and you want to do virtual staging or virtual design, we've got the tools to make that happen in a pretty low-cost way. So that's our business model on that front. We are building a series of applications that will help people do services with us that don't involve talking to someone at our company. Those are the best software businesses. So the next thing that's coming out from us is the ability for anyone in the world to actually be able to move objects around in a 3D model in your web browser, and that's a relatively novel application.
Very exciting. Well, we're definitely floored. The last question is, you came from Bonobos, you started in consulting, you've done a lot of different entrepreneurial types of things and had many roles. What's your favorite thing about Floored, and what do you expect maybe a year, 5 years from now?
Yeah, I think more than any other company I've ever worked at, I feel like we're working on the future right now. Like we are, this does not exist. This is not a typical thing that people expect when you're talking about real estate of any shape, or size. That's what gets me excited to get up every day. Is just the sense that our team in New York, at the office, is building a better world. For now, digitally, but you can imagine a world where museums have been 3D scanned, cultural artifacts have been 3D scanned that really transform everything from entertainment to education to real estate. So.
And do you think you can be the 3D Google? Can we search for our dream penthouse, our dream workspace?
Yeah, overlooking Central Park, south, let's say.
Yeah, lighting from this angle.
Let's put ourselves there. I can search for that.
Yeah, I'd like to think that our aspirations are to be the technology behind the end result more so than the end destination. I think that's something that we've got a good relationship with our clients because we drive them a new type of experience and a new type of traffic on their site. I don't see us as the portal. What I really respect about Google is the technical innovation that they've brought to a bunch of different markets, and that is something that we aspire to do similarly.
Got it. Very exciting. That's Dave Eisenberg, co-founder and CEO of Floored. I'm Nicole wURKEN with Ross Kenneth wURKEN. Thanks for being with us on What's wURKEN.